What we have here essentially is the material itself, the letters from 1800, reproduced courtesy of the Records Office at Bury St Edmunds. I spent some time a long while ago in the Bury Records Office. Subsequently I thought, well, I must get these sent to me. So they were photocopied and sent. It was a service that they carried out efficiently. And it was my own naivety. I thought I would have to sit and write the whole thing out, but it didn't work out like that. But the letters, like with family history, once you get a record, like a birth certificate or a death certificate, it kind of brings the whole thing into relief and makes it much more personal. There are people involved, and they are writing letters, and you can tell by the nature of, the handwriting, that the kind of characters that they are, particularly Loft, whose handwriting is very difficult to decipher, and one of these letters I'm going to have to go through again because they're quite difficult to understand. At the moment, I've dated them and I've put down who they're between in terms of letters. The top row is the earliest ones, and they run from the 30th of March through to June and July, when there are letters written against Capel Loft as a magistrate, and the results in being struck off the bench, and basically their letters condemning his actions in the case of Sarah Lloyd, particularly his actions on the night of her, on the day of her hanging and subsequent burial, where he led quite a mob into demanding that she have the last rites. But anyway, that kind of pushes the story way on. He's not involved on the top line, so to speak, in the letters. He's not involved so much emotionally. He's just asking for facts up there. There's a big gap here, around about the 8th, 9th of April. You can see that I've got the 7th, and then the 10th. There are letters for the 8th and 9th because they're annotated in a document that was done contemporaneously with these letters, when they were put into a record office, when they were bundled up, essentially. But they're missing. But I know I've had them because I've got a transcript of them that I made earlier. And I don't know how I did that or where I did it and why the letters have gone, because it's, as I said earlier, this is over a long period of time. It may be that I used the copies of the letters themselves as a stage prop, and they were subsequently lost, which is a bit of a problem. But I do have some of the transcripts, and it's a crucial letter, the letter of the 10th, I think, or the earlier, maybe the 9th, in which Loft lays out the actual petition. It's the memorial letter where he lists the names of the people involved in appealing for Sarah's life. So it is quite crucial, and there are one or two gaps in terms of dates, but what I'm doing at the moment is just, I've worked along the top line and I've made notes on each letter. And so far, what emerges clearly are particular characters and events. And the characters are changing. I mean, Loft himself is changing from a disinterested magistrate, calling himself quite severe to Sarah at one point, because he has visitation rights and goes to see her in prison. Until the end, when he's actually quite angry about the memorial that's been placed on her grave, because he thinks it admits that she did the crime, and in his opinion she didn't. She wasn't guilty. So, he changes a lot, and there are one or two, there's lots of characters that change in the same kind of way. So I'm ploughing through this material initially to try and make sure that I have a real hold of the storyline and of the characters before I start embellishing.